rolling.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 70.
70.
of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. We are sponsored by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business, website design, Google Ads, graphic design, they can help. Check them out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or on their website at bbdigitalmarketing.com. Again, bbdigitalmarketing.com. Request a free online review right there on the homepage of the website. They'll check out like your entire online presence, and they'll give you kind of a great grades across the board. So it's really cool. I did one for the t-shirt business, the podcast. It's kind of it's very informative.
Very nice. Hey, big shout out to our friend George Hernandez at Hernandez Claims. George is a public adjuster who can help settle commercial or residential insurance claims on your behalf. Sorry about that, y'all. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals help you get the most compensation possible for your insurance company. Check them out at Hernandez Claims on Instagram or visit their website, hernandezclaims.com.
Awesome. Let's not forget Sean over at Flow and Roll. I got some gifts for you guys at the end of the show. Hands down, the best custom gi and no gi gear in the business. Don't believe us? Check them out on Instagram. You can see just tons of stuff that he posts from like different gyms across the country. The artwork is always incredible. He'll take your logo, turn it into an amazing design. Again, gi or no gi. At flow_n_roll on Instagram. You can check them out at flowandroll.com. And if you're just buying t-shirts or you're just buying a gi or even they do embroidered belts, you get 20% off with code JJD. All right, everybody? I am Milton Campus. I'm a brown belt training out of South Florida. You can check me out on Instagram at Uncle Milty BJJ and at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. Shout out to Britt Tavar, our booking manager and sponsorship coordinator. What's up, Britt?
What's up?
Good job.
Hello,
Woohoo! Thank you very much for all you're doing for us. Bo behind the camera.
Hey.
How's it going, y'all? Miguel?
The unvaxxed sperm donor over here.
Whoa.
Unvaxxed sperm is the new Bitcoin.
Bitcoin sperm.
It's one of our most popular TikToks right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Liquid gold.
It's running. How you doing, brother?
Liquid crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
me?
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm
All right,
doing
brother.
great. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Episode 70. We've come a long way. You know that we're right at
The golden
we won't
years,
get to 100.
man.
We launched our first podcast. What did he say?
It's a golden
It's the
years.
golden years of our podcast.
The idea was conceived in 3 years ago in March.
Yeah.
Then we pretty much, I think we did like the dress rehearsal, we'll call it, in April. And then by May, I think the first week of May, we had the first one out.
Yep.
And we're coming up on our
I think I was a
third anniversary.
two-stripe white belt.
Were you even were you training with
Yes.
us? You were training with us already when we had started this?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you like those fucking idiots. They're never going to go anywhere with
No,
this
I
stupid
just-
podcast.
I didn't.
Morons.
I've never been a hater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not usually a hater unless you're doing something that's worth hating.
Yeah.
You want to do something that's fun, man. I get it.
It's been...
We're already doing jiu-jitsu.
we
I mean,
talk
that's already weird.
We talk about it amongst ourselves a lot. Like, it was truly just an idea. Let's have fun with it. It wasn't like this thing we were going to do to make money. And then I guess you turn your passion into a business and it just
not
starts
making
to happen.
any money for me. I just love this shit.
Yeah, man, it's
That's
fun as
it.
hell. I love coming here on Thursdays. I very much look forward to talking to you knuckleheads.
Yeah. Thursdays are fun.
All right, let's get today's guest in here.
You could get a sugar daddy by being famous.
Get a sugar daddy?
You guys, you killed me. Let's get today's guest in here. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. Today's guest is a 5th degree jiu-jitsu black belt, multiple-time IBJJF, gold medalist. I mean, the accolades are just ridiculous. I couldn't read everything that he does. But ladies and gentlemen, Professor Bruno Bastos. Welcome, Professor.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here. Hopefully to share some good stories with you guys.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we were just talking about, which is, so let's clarify degrees and how many years.
Mhm.
So when you get your first black belt, to get that first degree, how many years do you need to be at black belt?
So the first 3 degrees is going to be like 3 years
Okay.
for each degree. And then after the 3rd degree, and then 5 years to each degree until the 6th degree.
Okay.
And then after that, 7 years until your coral belt. So like, I'm 5th degree now, and then like I'm not counting. I know that I'm gonna be on my 50s when I get a coral belt.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I know, and then the only reason I keep that in because I have a goal to compete as a coral belt.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
Is there anybody out there that competes at Coral?
Yeah.
There's some, right?
They're out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really, who inspired me to do that was when I saw Master Julio Cesar from GF
Okay.
He competed as a coral belt in Rio de Janeiro, and that inspired me because he's a leader of a huge association, the TGF, and then like nothing to prove, like or like people that has like big ego, maybe everything to lose, right? But he just like tie his coral belt, walk on the match, competed, had a great time, and then for me that was like a big showing of leadership.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big that's a kind of a big deal to not only be able to compete in front of your students, obviously to win is the goal. How does that differ from when you lose and you have to walk off the mat and see your students? What is that feeling? How would you kind of like what's the right word to say? Like how would you when you're walking off the mat, how do you feel after a loss?
Yeah, depends on like what phase of Bruno you're talking about, right?
Okay.
If was the kid Bruno, like when I was a kid, because I can't count in my hand the times I lost as a kid, right? And then so back then the world was over, right?
Yeah.
With a loss, and as a professional athlete was really hard to digest because when you are athlete, like world class athlete, you're trying to be the best in the world, like it's never a good feeling to lose, right? But nowadays I feel that I enjoy jiu-jitsu much more, right? And then like when I lose, I don't like. I think if you are a successful person in whatever field you're working on, you're never gonna like losing on anything, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
but like I feel like today, let's say I'm going to martial worlds, compete in martial worlds, and then I lose. That doesn't change how my school runs, how my kids love me, how my wife loves me, how my students like appreciate the job that I do with them. Like doesn't change anything. So I think because of this, the change of perspective is I don't like I'm gonna walk off the mat and people gonna be talking to me, are gonna be talking normal, and then maybe they'll be like, oh, like, so how do you do it at your match? Like, I lost. Like, you lose? Or like, yeah. But you look so relaxed. Or like, it's just a jiu-jitsu match.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Doesn't change my life, right? I think when you were young, everything's about that gold medal, right? But once you realize that life is much more than that, and then like, it's just a jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question about that.
Mhm.
So let me know how you feel about this. If let's say you do a match and you lose, you go back to your school. Of course, all your students like, hey, professor, great job. Sorry about your loss, I guess. I don't know what they're gonna say. But anyways, how would you feel if one of them started going like, hey, I think this is what went wrong in your match? I'm not asking as a joke.
Well, I mean, I guess I think about like what level of student is
I'm talking about
coming to give him advice.
It's not advice. I mean,
No.
what if-
Mhm.
I want to know if I feel like some professors would get upset. Like they think like, why is a blue belt gonna say like, hey man, I saw this during your great match, whatever. I saw this during your match, and obviously he's gonna know. He's gonna know. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So then you as a professor, I think you'd be proud of your student because they spotted the mistake that the professor made, and I know you know it.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
No,
How do you-
I understand, and then like it's a great question because I'm very open with my students about how you feel during a match, before a match, after a match, and all the situations of winning or losing, right? And like I always like to give myself as example for them in both situations, winning and losing, but most of the times on the losing side because they can see how I react, right? And then we go over like why I lost the match.
Yeah.
What were the mistakes? So I like the question because that's something that I talk about. I have a group of high level competitors in every belt level, and like I don't have like my professor, right? So like they are the ones that coach me in the tournaments, and they train with me every week when I'm preparing for tournaments, and they know what I'm looking for to do. They know what's the game plan. They know everything. And then if I don't trust them, if I don't trust their judgment ability, like how are you gonna be able to perform and then or accept the criticism, right? So I'm very open for my students about that, and I have no problem with them like pointed out like looking for opinions. A lot of times like in training sessions, I'm gonna have students like I'm gonna ask like 2-3 students to look at my training, and then like, hey, what you think? And then I go after training, right after I go over like, hey, even if I did really good, let's say I tap everybody like in the on the rounds that I did, but like, well, what could I have done better? What are adjustments that I need to make? What do you guys see? Because like when on the inside I can't see because I'm rolling.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that be open minded on that sense helps me with my students a lot because man, I moved to Midland, Texas, 2012, and then my class had 1 purple belt, 3 blue belts, and 5 white belts. That was my first class.
Yeah.
So like well, if I didn't build the team that I have now, how like I didn't have my coach for me.
That's good. Yeah, because I feel like we've all had the coach that's gone like, do this because this is how I won my whatever tournament. It's like this move carried me when nobody else was doing this move, and it's like I could remember in my head more times of me losing because that's how I eventually learned than more times of me winning because I already know how to do that.
Are you someone that or is someone yelling instructions to you when you're out there? Are you being coached even by like a student maybe that doesn't even realize he probably shouldn't be yelling anything, but are like people yelling, "Do this, professor! It's there."
No, like not the yelling one thing. So I have a lot of high belts, and then some of the higher belts have open schools here on the area, right? And then I think it's important to coach your students how to coach as well. If you have like comparators, right? And I tell them like one thing that I don't agree with is the let's go. Like let's go. Oh, and then I say, okay, let's go where? Right? So like we're going to Florida, we're going to California, we're going to Brazil, where are we going? Right? And then it is a joke, but it's true as well. You don't want to be cheerleading somebody. You want to be like giving like the path for somebody, right? Hey, watch the grip on the collar. Hey, pass to your left. Like, oh, his right side is the weakest side. Remember that. Hey, it's like go for the knee cut. Like he's open. Like things like that, right? So you have to know how to give the coaching for the person. Otherwise, you just a cheerleader there for the person. And then like if you just like yelling at the person all the time, I feel like some people they need to be hyped up for matches, but some like a lot of people is the opposite. They need to feel calm, and then if you're not calm on the outside, they're gonna give like too much like nerves for them on the inside.
Yeah.
So you have to be calm on the outside, right? So some of my students, you barely gonna hear my voice. Some of my students, if you hear my voice, it's because something go out of the plan. And then other students, of course, are gonna be more like voicing things because they need that like play by play, right? For me, if you give me the time and the circumstance of the match, like I'm good. I'm not the type that need like to be like yell at and then some people are. So and then I try to coach my students on how to coach different people because you don't gonna coach everybody the same way. Each human being is an individual. And like I don't gonna be coaching like both of you guys at the same time if I'm coaching you guys, for example.
Yeah. Now, how do you does your family trains? How do you handle watching your kid? Does your wife still compete?
She just came back. She just came back to competition. She competed Austin Open. She's gonna be doing Dallas Open. We'll see
how do you handle that when you're coaching family, or do you not coach them?
Like my wife, I have coached every single match that she has had in jiu-jitsu, besides one that I was competing at the same time.
Okay.
But and then like we were both like competing, and then like but we both won our matches, so that was the good thing.
Nice,
right? Um, but I have coached her in every single match. And then for me, of course, I get nervous for her because it's the person that I love, is the mother of my children. Like is like we have the school together, everything together. Like we met on the match, so everything like we do together. So, but she is like a video game, regardless of the result. Like she is very coachable. She has a background in judo and Russian sambo. She's a Bulgarian, so she represents Bulgaria international competitions in judo and sambo. So I think because she has that background of like world class competition, it's very easy to coach her, right? When it comes to my kids, I have a boy and a girl. João Lucas, is the oldest one. My boy is 8 years old now. He has won kids twice. He's very coachable as well, but has a different mindset than my daughter Maria Clara. Right, Maria Clara, she's 6 now, and João, like he competed for 2 years without winning a single match. Right, and then for me that was fine. Like I didn't like his losing, but I wasn't even teaching them. So I coach them, but I don't teach them. I don't know if that makes sense. So I coach them in a tournament, but in our school, they have their instructors because I want to just be their dad. The reason I coach them in tournaments is because they want me to coach them because they see me coaching the other students. Right? So, and I have to explain that part. But so João, he lost for 2 years every single match. Like he would go on those tournaments, double elimination, would go 0-4, like 2 losses gi, 2 losses no gi, and then it would be like, João, how'd you do? Oh, I had a great time, was awesome. I competed gi, no gi. So for me, that was about it. Like he was competing because he would see his dad competing. He would compete because he would see the other kids competing, so he want to compete as well. But competition wasn't like, oh, I have to win for him. Until I took him, I didn't want to take him to Punk Kids, and then I took him to a Punk Kids. But my wife, like, go with him, and a friend that I have as well, Gustavo Dantas, like, no, you should go with him. Just dad and son trip, like boys trip. You guys like gonna be nice for you guys. And then he went, and it was a three kids bracket, and he lost both matches, and then he cried, like no kidding, for over 1 hour. And that was his first like real taste of a loss. But that was the shift because then from that I start teaching him in some classes, like because we made a promise with each other, and then a year later he came back to Wimpon Kids.
Oh wow!
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you get more nervous? Do you get more nervous competing yourself or watching your family compete?
When I compete, I don't get, like I tell my students, I don't get nervous. I think I've been doing. I will be 42 now in March, and I start when I was 10. Right? And then my third day ever in Jiu-Jitsu was competing. I did a Wednesday class, I did a Friday class, and I did an in-house tournament on a Saturday. So, I didn't even know what I was doing, man. But so like for me, like as a kid, I would get nervous. Teenager nervous, like as when I got my black belt, like oh my god, now all the guys are my idols, gonna be opponents and like all this. But again, nowadays, like I don't want to say that I enjoy, like I enjoy everything. I enjoy the training. I enjoy walking to the arena. I enjoy see everyone's facing the warm up area. I enjoy they call my name. I'm walking to them. I enjoy everything, because I think when I was younger, was so much pressure about you having to win, having to win, having to win, that I wasn't enjoying that part. It was like a job, right? And I enjoy so.
When you first started, excuse me, when you first started, when you said at age 10?
Yes.
When you first started, did you know that you loved jiu-jitsu after those first couple of days? Was this something you knew you were going to do? Or was it more like your parents? I think I heard you talk about you asked your mother to put you into judo or jiu-jitsu, yes. And she didn't do it for a while.
Exactly. I was 8 years old when Brazilian judoka Aurelio Miguel won the gold at the Seoul Olympics, 1988. And then like I was like, man, like that's a real thing. It's not like a movie, right? Like I saw, and I was like, I want to be like that guy. But my mom didn't have like money to put us in judo, and then they have judo around as well. So after almost 2 years, I asked her, and then like I have two cousins, Fernanda and Andrea. They are both black belts as well. They live in Rio. They opening their school now together. They are brother and sister. And then they were doing jiu-jitsu already. And then my uncle told my mom, like, no, just put the kids on that jiu-jitsu thing because it's like judo. They throw, they do submissions in school. The kids like it. And then that's how I start. So when as soon as I start, because I didn't have any friends in school, like I was like very shy kid. I wouldn't talk to nobody. I had no friends. Um, I was like the nerd in a good way. Like, and then I didn't I didn't have any friends. So when I started jujitsu, then like that changed me. So for me, it wasn't about like I can't say that I fell in love with jujitsu. I fell in love with having friends. Like my team was going to jujitsu because of my friends, and I love that I see my kids nowadays. They both they every competition that they have done, they asked to do it. Was never like me telling them to do something, right? But what I love is like, oh, let's go to jiu-jitsu. Today is gi, today is no gi. And then they get there and they play with their friends. So they don't even feel that they're doing jiu-jitsu, right? And that's how I see that I was back then. Like for me, like I was going to see my friends. Jiu-jitsu was just part of the deal. And then like I chose jiu-jitsu when I was 15 to 16. That's when I chose jiu-jitsu. But until then, it was all about my friends.
Thank you to DD214 Fightwear, gear for patriotic rollers. Visit their website, dd214bjj.com, and get 15% off your online order with code JJD. And check them out on Instagram at dd214_fightwear. Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, and CCTV. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the Dummies sent you. All of us here at the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies would like to thank the entire crew over at Flow and Roll for their tremendous support. They're renowned for their incredible t-shirt designs, and they've got something for everyone. Flow and Roll quickly rose up to become the premier custom apparel provider for academies, big or small, throughout the United States. Shoot them an email about your custom order, flowandroll@gmail.com, and they'll be more than happy to get you hooked up. Check them out on Instagram at flow_n_roll for samples of their gi and no-gi kits. They conveniently offer flexible payment options, too. Head over to flowandroll.com for more details, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummies signature tee, now exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your online purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD. Special thanks to George Hernandez, Claims Adjuster. Have you experienced damage to your residential or commercial property in the state of Florida from flood or fire, storms, theft and vandalism, even sinkholes, just to name a few? Don't get stressed out dealing with your insurance provider. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals get you the most compensation possible. Visit hernandezclaims.com or call 305-712-6751 to get help now. And stay in touch with them on Instagram at Hernandez Claims. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the bell to be notified every time we upload new videos.
So you have your wife, your two kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4. But you have a whole
Mm-hmm.
line of family members that are not only black belts, but that train jiu-jitsu, right?
So I have my brother, Rico. He's a black belt. He's one that had to have race for IBJJF, been working who's #1 as well. My sister Bianca Bastos, she's physical therapy with master's degree. She actually is here now in the United States. She wanna get her doctor's here. So and she's a black belt as well. She stopped competing like long time ago, but like on the 2000s, she competed against like Luana Zugir, Annette Stack. Like she competed against some of those girls. My cousins, Fernanda and Andrea. Fernanda, she competed on the very first World Championship that had women. and then she got a bronze medal. The podium was Leca Vieira, Letícia Ribeiro, Daniela Paiva, like Gigi Paiva wife, and my cousin Fernanda.
Oh, wow.
You know,
And
yeah,
wait, did you just list the black belts? Those are all black belts?
yeah, yes.
And then,
my cousin Andrea, who's a black belt as well.
Everybody.
He's one of the referees for IBJJF in Brazil. I have another cousin, Thiago Bastos, who's a black belt as well. But that is about it, right? Like it's just a lot of people, but my family is so huge that I feel there's not a lot of people do jiu-jitsu.
yeah. Wow.
My grandma, she had 7 kids, so I have, I don't know like how many. I have over 20 cousins.
Wow.
You know?
I'm sure you have family members that you forget you have.
No, like I remember when I took my wife first time to Brazil to meet my family, and it was in Christmas. So, and then one other time that was for my grandma 90th birthday, that those 2 times I almost have everybody, but she wasn't everybody. You know, like we talk about like dozens of people, like cannot fit everybody on the house. Everybody has to be on the outside.
Yeah. Wow.
On the summer of Rio de Janeiro. Don't forget about it.
So how do you wind up in Texas? Your school is in Midland, Texas, correct? Okay.
Yes.
How do you wind up in Texas?
So I first moved to Dallas 2009, right after the 2009 ADCC in Barcelona. I had to come earlier to help Travis Luther to one of his UFC fights. So I came, I did the World Championship, and then I stayed training with Travis to help him. And then like it's funny because now we have like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right? And then, but back then, like we had like a chat online that we call ICQ in Brazil, ICQ, like we would call like that. And then and they would put like our status, and I put my status in Dallas, right? And then like a guy that I have met in Paraná, he's like, Bruno, are you in Dallas? Like Rico, his name. I was like, yeah, Rico, what's up? I'm like, oh, I live in Dallas now. Like, oh, we can meet. And then he said, man, like you want to move to Dallas because the guy where I'm training jiu-jitsu is looking for a professor. And I was like, well, we can meet. So, and that's how I met that guy, Greg Seal. He owns Octagon MMA in Dallas, Texas. He still owns that school. Nowadays, Rafael Lang teaches over there, right? So he's the guy that brought me in 2009. So right after ADCC, I came. I taught at Octagon for 2 years, and then had a guy that he was going to train with me every month in Dallas, and then he asked me if I want to try to make a jiu-jitsu program in Midland, a small town. And then he said, like, you try. We can give make a 1-year deal. If it doesn't work, we should have a market in Dallas, or can go to Houston, like go back to a big city. But and then I came in February of 2012, so exactly 10 years ago, right? Exactly 10 years ago. And after 1 year, everything was working well. Then my wife was expecting of her child, João Lucas. You know, and that was 2013, and then I was like, no, let's give her a shot. Let's make another deal. And then I made another deal of 3 years, and then keep growing. And then by the time of the 3rd year, she was expecting Maria Clara, and then I had opportunity to go to Abu Dhabi, but I didn't want to like leave United States and then like stay there how many years, and then try to come back to open my own thing. Because nobody gonna wait for anybody for like 1.5 years, 2 years, 3 years. That's the truth. Like when it comes like to business, right? And then I decided to stay. So my wife and I stuck to here. And then 2019 we were able to open our own schools, like no like our own school, like no partners, no nothing. And then now our school has little over 2 years. Very successful here. And then we're happy. So that's how I ended up in Midland, Texas. Was like, I like to say that I didn't choose Midland. Midland chose me.
Now, when did you meet your wife? Because I believe you met your wife overseas, right? In Europe? Did you meet her in Bulgaria while you were training?
Yes. I was there training a former UFC fighter, Stanislav Medikov. My first decade as a black belt, I worked with a lot of MMA fighters. I think I was doing very well in no-gi competitions in Brazil, and because of that, a lot of guys would like to I would receive invitations to like I work with Mirko Krokop when he won the Pride Grand Prix. I work with the Nogueira brothers. I work with Fabrício Verdun. So uh, I was blessed on that sense, right? And then I was in Bulgaria working with Stanislav Nedikov, and she was a judo coach on the gym that I was working with him. So she was there, like on Cesar position, her knees, putting her belt. I was like, oh, like, interesting.
Yeah.
So like we literally met on the mats, and then she came to the United States, and then like we decided to stay together, and then like I took her to Brazil, and then like that's how.
So you were already in the
everything
U.S. You go to Europe. You meet her in
Yes,
Bulgaria, and then you come back.
yes, yes. I
Okay.
was in Midland already. It was my first year in Midland.
Oh wow.
Like I met her in 2012.
Oh, so she's been there with you from the beginning.
Exactly.
Wow.
So she saw the beginning here. Like we were like on a second floor of a mall above a bar, and man was like if people have seen that for school, they wouldn't believe that. Like back then, 2012, I already had a name in jiu-jitsu, and then like I remember I brought a friend of mine, Rodrigo Feijão, to come like work on a training camp for World Championship. And then he's like, when he walked around the school, he's like, Bruno, what are you doing here? Right? But I believe the thing for me was like back then when the guy that invited me to come over here, my vision was like, man, there's an opportunity to have something that's mine. Right? Like I will not have someone telling me what to do like every week or every day or whatever. And one thing that I tell my students a lot, like especially the kids, the teenagers, like the young adults, like, man, I have always bet on myself. I have always bet on myself. And then did it always pay off? No, like, I struggle a lot of times. But I know that if I didn't bet on myself, I wouldn't be where I am now in life.
Yeah.
Because like when I decided make a like that I want to make jiu-jitsu as a living, like mid-90s, jiu-jitsu had no business. So I remember my dad a lot of times like, hey, you have to find a real job. You have to find a real job. Was him against me? No, he always supports me, but when I look back then, now, and like now being a father as well, I can understand him 100%. 100%. Jiu-jitsu had no business back then. The business back then was like, okay, you become a black belt and you fight Vale Tudo. That was the business. Like the business, right?
Yeah.
So
Is
there was
that
no
what
business.
brought you over to Nova União? Is that kind of what you thought you were going to be doing? I need to start doing Vale Tudo, so I need to, train with those guys.
Mhm.
Is that what led you there?
No, but I was in Nova União on the beginning. I
Okay.
was on the meeting that
okay.
they formed Nova União.
Oh, okay. But you trained before that, but then they formed, and then you were there.
Yes,
right?
because I started 1990, but Nova União was from 1995.
So you're the OG.
So
you were there before it was cool.
Yes. So like I'm a Wendell Alexander black belt, right? And then like that's why I have like
who's one of the founders, right? So everybody knows that he's one of the founders of Nova União.
Exactly. Him and then Master André Pederneiras. So like I was there from the beginning. I was there before this happened. I was there when they formed the union, the Nova União, and then we started go to competitions together because the deal back then, like Master André Pederneiras, he had a lot of like a strong group of like adults, right? And Wendell had a strong group of kids and juveniles. And back then they didn't have that division they have today. Like nowadays, like so and so won adult division, so and so won master division, so won female division. Didn't have that division where like for that teams could win like different things. It was just overall. So they never would win overall because they are strong in one point, but the weaker on the other point.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they did that, and then Nova União won Brazilian Nationals back then. Then Nova União won the World Championship back then. Like that was the golden era of Nova União. There, like Robson, like Robson Moura, Vitor Shaolin, Marcelo Pereira, Leonardo Santos, BJ Penn, João Roque, and then I'm gonna go naming like people here. And then that time was great and crazy, like the level of training as well.
Did you ever see yourself fighting MMA and was going into the UFC ever in your plan?
I did some fights, but it was never my dream to be like in UFC or to be on Pride back then. Like that was never my dream. My deal, like the generation that I came was you should a generation that you get your black belt and then you fight in a Vale Tudo to prove your jiu-jitsu. And that's what took me to fight like MMA. But there was never something that like I'm an MMA fan. Like I watch every UFC that I can, Bellator that I can, PFL, like everything, right? But it was never something that I love like to myself, like as an athlete or as a coach. So like my school is a jiu-jitsu school. Like I don't want MMA on my school. I don't want kickboxing. It's different environment, right? But like was never my dream. My dream was always like jiu-jitsu. Then like when as a black belt, and then like man, I want to have my school. Back then I was teaching already, and then I want to have my school. When I was on my mid-20s, I was like, oh, I think I know that now the future is outside of Brazil, because I already seen people coming to the United States to teaching or going to Europe or to Australia, And then by that time I was traveling already. I have visited Australia. I have visited like some places in Europe, like Croatia, Bulgaria, Finland, So I knew that my future would be outside of Brazil, and then eventually have a school.
I always like to ask this.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and of course, as a competitor, like the quest of being a world champion, right? Because if you're a competitor, you want this.
What would you be doing if you hadn't made a career for yourself in jiu-jitsu? Was there something else that you were in love with or that you thought you would be doing?
As a Brazilian kid, soccer, of course, okay. Right? And I was always a big kid. So I don't even think I was like that good, but like a lot of people wanted me on the team because I was big, So like, man, who don't want to like a strong 13, 14, 15-year-old kid that is like has like adult size?
Yeah.
So I was always big. Like by the time I was 16, like I already had the height that I have now. So I was like really tall, and then because of that in school I played like a little bit like volleyball and basketball as well. But I never liked it. I just did it because like I had to do like things that you have to do in school, But like soccer was one thing that as a kid, like before jiu-jitsu and in the early jiu-jitsu years, like I really love it. And I thought maybe because people always pick me, I said like, man, like maybe I can do that. But I had the crazy stuff. Like I remember, like I always loved history lessons. So in one point, I want to do college to get a history degree. In one point, like I did a college for physical education. So I had different like things that I like as a kid. In one point, I want to be a mechanic for Formula One. Like I love to watch Formula One. Now I think it's nice that in the United States that market is growing now with that Drive to Survive like on Netflix. So that's nice.
It's coming.
So now
here.
I have issues that I can talk about this. Because before I would wake up on a Sundays by myself and then watch by myself. My wife like, you crazy? Why wake up early to watch this?
Or stay up late.
So I have things like, so the things that I enjoy. So I watch every soccer game that I can. I watch every Formula One race that I can. Like, so the things that like I love to read books, biographies and stuff like that. So the things that I like as a kid, I still like now. But I don't know if I would, man, like it's so hard to think myself without jiu-jitsu because that's all I have done. So I don't think I tell my friends that I don't think I love jiu-jitsu. I think that I am jiu-jitsu.
I like that. Let's I'm a fellow big guy. I'm like pushing 240. And I always talk about I'm 48 now. When I'm training with somebody that's smaller than me, and I didn't always used to do this, but when I train with somebody smaller than me, I'm very conscious about not hurting them. I don't want to be the big guy bully. What kind of advice would you give a fellow big guy when they are training with those little guys? Because most of the little guys are scared of me as soon as they see me. They don't know that I'll pull guard. I'll pull them to me. I'll let them work their game as long as they don't, do something stupid. But what kind of advice do you give to the big guys, so that they're not the scary, gym bully?
Like one thing that I tell my students is that they have to understand jiu-jitsu to be able to play jiu-jitsu, right? If you just go to class and you just repeat what your coach is teaching you, it's like you go to the school and just make sure that you know enough to go to the next grade, right? So I encourage them to have their own thoughts on the move, like to study the moves, understand the mechanics of the move, how you move your body, how you have to push yourself, how you have to balance yourself. Because one thing that I repeat for them a lot, how can you control somebody if you don't know how to control yourself? And I think that make them looking for that balance. And then the truth is that for me, there is no balance. You just find that sometimes, but it's not like there is no balance that's like forever, right? Because you keep changing, you keep evolving, and then you get older, and then your body changes, and then like everything, right? And then because they see me, and then like they see me train with like the Hoosterways, the light feathers, they see me train with the girls, right? And then they see me roll with the teens, the teenagers, and I think they see how I roll, and we start like mimic them on the beginning, and then they start finding their comfortable zone, like on that sense, right? I think it helped me a lot growing up with guys that were smaller than me, because if you like those names that I said, like Marcelo Pereira, Roosterweight, Robson Moura was light feather, Vitor Shaolin was lightweight, Gustavo Dante was featherweight, Léo Santos lightweight, like BJ Penn featherweight, like João Rock featherweight or light feather, and I can go on and on, like Bernardo Pitel, Roosterweight, like Marcelino Pereira, Marcelino Freitas, like featherweight. The only big guy back then was like Rafael Carino, but he wasn't doing much like jiu-jitsu. He fought on one of the earliest UFC, and then he wasn't doing much jiu-jitsu. And then we have Fernando Marques, who is a heavyweight. But most of the guys were lightweights. And then once I was a teenager, okay, I was bigger than them, but I wasn't strong enough. So they would like catch me how they wanted, right? But once I became adult, if I didn't know how to train with them, I wouldn't have training partners. So I think growing up with those guys helped me a lot for this. And then my sister, who is a black belt, she's a black belt under me. So I train a lot with my sister. That was very helpful. Having a sister, having a cousin, Fernanda, so I would train with them all the time. So I think growing up, having those guys as training partners, and then having to train with my sister, with my cousin, that really, really helped me a lot to be able to train like how I train with the smaller people, with the girls, teenagers, and so on. And with the possibility that the students have to see that, and then they can mold themselves to do the same.
I used to tell people this, not so much now, but maybe at blue and purple, when I realized, I first started training with a coach that was bigger than me. So I wasn't super conscious of my weight. One of my training partners was 400 pounds, and we had to work on a lot of things. 400 pounds.
That's a big boy.
That's a big boy. And we would work on moves, and every move we did, it was comfortable. It was just known in the class we would do it. It wasn't a problem, but we would work with him on how to do it for his body type. I mean, if he got on his back, it was very hard for him to move. So, we would teach him the moves and like, okay, oh, your leg should be here. Oh, you could do it this way. So I came from a place where I didn't have to consider my weight. And there were other training partners there, and some of them were smaller, but I had all these big guys, so we went hard a lot. At blue to purple, I had to figure out, and I realized this, I'm learning the move, I'm learning how to be dominant, and then I'm also learning how to not hurt. I go to a new gym, I started training with girls, and I had to figure out, I can't lay on them like this, and I would have to kind of figure out where to put my weight so I don't hurt myself, or I don't, make them feel like I'm not also like I'm taking it light on them because they're a girl.
Yes,
so like I had to learn how to roll both ways. And I used to tell people, you don't understand, like I may be rolling with you and you may think I'm rolling hard. I'm trying to figure out how to not hurt you, not to put my weight on you, especially if they were a lower belt or a female. So there was that time that at that blue and purple where I had to make those adjustments for myself and really learn how to not be a jerk.
That said, that phase of the adjustment. Everybody goes through that phase.
Yeah.
Is everything's phase. Everything's phase, and then like there is a like in jiu-jitsu, doesn't matter how well people gonna teach you, if you don't go through things yourself, it's really hard to understand. You have to go through like the good and the bad, like to understand, because if you don't feel it yourself, it's really hard. Jiu-jitsu I remember when I was like a teenager, and then of course like Rickson Grace fan, right? And then like jiu-jitsu, like I remember like I knew few words in English, but I remember him saying like, about the feeling, like feeling people, like feeling the moves, like everything was the feeling. Like he'll talk about invisible jiu-jitsu, right? How you feel. And then like, man, I was like a teenager. I was like, man, like I love the Rickson, but what he's talking about, I didn't understand. Right? I didn't understand. But it's a phase, and then you athlete, and then like you start teaching, and now you have to pay attention to things that you didn't have to pay attention before. And then like you have that phase, right? That when you start teaching, but you start teaching just so you can keep being an athlete. And now the phase that I am, that I have been for a couple of years already, that's the phase now you coach because you love to be a coach.
Yeah.
And then that's completely different.
I don't coach where I am, but I love coaching my training partners if they're willing to accept it. That's one of my favorite parts is as a brown belt working with somebody that's just getting started, especially when they're a big guy now. Now I used to, big guy's here, white belt, he's going to get all spazzy. Now I grab them. Now I say, come here, let me work with you.
You have to come to Midland, Texas. I have a lot of big toys here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to book my ticket tomorrow.
Man, I'm serious now. You do love the training here.
It's something that as you're learning jiu-jitsu, I would be like, I tell people when I look at myself or as I'm talking to you, I don't see myself as a big person. And then I see myself in a picture with somebody. I see the class picture and I'm like, oh, that's what they see. Okay, my big ass head and my big body. Like then okay, this is what they see. But remember, when I'm talking to you, I'm not conscious of my size in relation to you until I maybe see us in the mirror. I tell a story. I had a friend that was a bartender, and we were roommates. And I always used to tell him he had a humongous head. And then one day I went to his bar, and he turned around, and I could see our heads next to each other in the mirror, and my head was bigger than his. And I never made fun of how big his head was again. That's a true story. But again, I'm not very conscious of it until I see myself, and then I realize, like even my wife, we're walking in the house and we bump into each other in the hallway, and she flies into the wall. I don't even realize. She's like, come on, you're a big guy, turn your
I had one of those moments the other day, and I know I got politely to like ask to not roll with them.
Oh yeah,
it was an open mat. And there was literally nobody left, and there was a female like in the middle of the mat.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was like she is an experienced, higher belt. And I just go, hey, you want to roll? And I knew she just said, no, I'm going to skip this round because, and then I was just kind of like, yeah, I get it. Like,
you're big.
But
much bigger than her?
Obviously, yeah. But also I think it's like, cause I'm newer to the school, so she doesn't know how I roll.
Yeah.
Right. So like she doesn't know. It's like, okay, now I got to deal with a 200-pound blue belt, and I'm a higher belt, and I don't know if he's one of those blue belts. It's just like going to beat anybody who's a higher belt to make themselves feel better.
Are you okay with that, Professor? Are you okay with a student, saying, I don't want to roll with somebody? I know the old school guys, it would be like, no, just everybody roll. Don't worry. You're not going to lose, you'll learn. But if somebody to turn down a roll, what would you tell them?
I'm okay. I think everything is the environment that you're part of, right? And my school is even though like I love to compete and I have a lot of competitors, but my school is a family school, is a family environment, and I don't have to sell this because people walking in, what they see my wife and they see my kids. Because we do, we're there, right? Yeah. So like, do we have a competition team? Yes. Do like kids, adults? Yes. But most of the students, they are not competitors, man. I would say like maybe 10% of the students are competitors, and then like, why you gonna pay to go to a place that you don't feel comfortable to roll with somebody? So if you don't feel comfortable to roll with somebody, you have the right to like to say like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going for the person, because, and that's the part that I tell the like, especially the guys, right? Because we do have women's class, but we have mixed classes, right? And then I tell them like, guys, you guys cannot, it is like, I tell them, you guys cannot to roll if you don't feel comfortable to roll as well, and then go the other way around as well, because some guys, they don't want to do anything to don't hurt the girl, but then they let them do everything. Then there's not a training.
No way.
All right. And then some guys, they don't know how to control themselves. Then like, they kind of like let them do stuff, and then they go too hard and then hurt the girl, right? And then one thing that I tell the guys is like, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a wife? Or like, if you don't have those two, like, you have a mother for sure. Don't do with any girl what you wouldn't like people to do to your mother. Like, and like, it's that simple.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
that's
great
exactly
way
how
to
I
put it.
say. And then like, some guys, they feel intimidated by that. What they do, they don't roll with the girls.
Yeah.
And then some guys, they feel comfortable, they roll with the girls. And then like, a girl gonna see if you feel comfortable or not as well.
Yeah.
So for me, I have no problem. You don't have to feel obligated to roll with anybody. And I say this in a regular classes. In a competition training, and then I think it's different, because in a competition training, the way I do, I separate by groups. So we're gonna have the heavyweight groups, gonna have the light and middleweight groups, gonna have the Hooster light featherweight groups, gonna have like the girls group. So then like, that eliminates that thing, because
That's
if
smart.
you're training for competition, you wanna be as close as possible to reality. So why I gonna roll with my Hooster and my light feather if I'm gonna compete against guys that sometimes are 300 plus? It doesn't make any sense, right? Why I gonna roll with the lightweight girl? Oh, but she can fight absolute. Yeah, but she don't gonna fight like somebody my size with absolute.
Yeah.
Right? So the girl can train with the guy. Sometimes they're gonna put like lighter guys with heavier guys, or girls with like little bigger guys, so they can simulate a absolute match, right? But it still have like like, I know who I'm putting with who. So the competition training is a different environment, because what I tell the competitors is the biggest key for good competition training is not who's in the competition training. By that I mean, like, let's say like Atos room, like André Galvão room. Man, like, you go there like kind of hook, like bragging, I mean, like left and right? But so like, is room like that is great? Yes, of course. Like the room that I told about Nova Union back in the day is great. Of course, it's great. But really, the key is like the ability of trust your training partner. Because if I trust you and you trust me, we can go 100% against each other, no problem. But if we don't trust each other, we could be Rickson and Royce that we would be all cautious about.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't be like a real competition training. And in a regular classes, the hobbyist is there, he and she has to have the ability of like not feel comfortable training with somebody, like no, like gonna train with the other person, and the other person has to think like, oh, like what did like what why that, right? Like what did I do? Like they have to look themselves on the mirror as well.
Yeah.
BJ Penn. He said BJ Penn like 3 times. I got to ask about BJ Penn.
I know everything about BJ Penn.
BJ Penn. You mentioned him a few times, correct? That you trained with BJ Penn, right?
Yes.
Did you tell us a little bit about that time? Was he recognized as like this? Okay, this is a phenom. He is somebody that's going to really take this far. Did you recognize that as a training partner in the same gym?
Got his black belt in 5
years. He was like different already. Like I remember he came as a blue belt. And then he got silver medal. Then he came back as a purple belt, and then got his brown belt, and then got 3rd place as a brown belt. And then that time when he came as a brown belt, because when he came to compete as a blue belt, he was part of Ralph Grace team. When he came back on the next year, he came back representing Nova União. He was training with Renato Veríssimo, Charuto, André Pederneiras black belt. And then he came, and I had really good training sessions with him. With not, like I was bigger than him, of course, but man, I could never pass his guard.
Yeah,
I could never pass the guard. And you could see that he was different. And then when he won as a black belt, he trained all the way up to the Sunday before the tournament as a brown belt. And then we're doing trials to see who's gonna represent the A team, right? And then I don't know who said like, no, let's put BJ on the black belt trials, and if he win, we promote him to black belt, and then he goes a black belt.
Wow.
So he beat all the black belts. Pederneiras put the black belt on him, and then 7 days later was black belt world champion.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted your question before.
No, I was like, he was talking about, you've done a million competitions, and some of them are local. Even the IBJJFs that come around town or whatever, you showed up to all those. You're bound to run into the hobbyist black belt. So is it? Have you ever had like where like you line up on either side of the television or the judges or whatever, and then he's like, "Hey man, I'm a huge fan," and then you just go out there, and you just like, do you feel the difference? Like I know a black belt's a black belt, but like I felt the difference between I've grappled with UFC fighters. And they feel something different when they're like, so it's like, do you feel that they're a hobbyist even though they're a black belt, and you just kind of like don't do anything, don't do anything you wouldn't do to your mother?
Oh, it is different. I have had a lot of guys that compete against me, like saying that they were like big fans of me. They have been following me since like they started jiu-jitsu. I have had the guys that I saw competing as a blue, purple, brown, and then like competing against me. And all the way, like back when I was adult, Martial 1, Martial 2, and now Martial 3, right? But you always know the guy that, okay, jiu-jitsu is his hobby, but he's a real competitor. Yeah. And the guy that just went to the competition because he wants to have like a competition fun. And then, like, and that's the part that drives me crazy about like jiu-jitsu, right? Because you cannot wake up one day and then like, guess what? Today I'm gonna play with Tom Brady, right? Or like
in jiu-jitsu, you can't.
Yes, exactly. So, you cannot wake up and like, oh, today, let me play with LeBron James, or like let me play with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Or let me sign up for the Olympics, right?
I get it.
But jiu-jitsu, you can, man. You can. That I think like as business as well and professional sport, I think is something that like has to change in jiu-jitsu. Because sometimes it's irresponsible you allow one guy, like let's say maybe we get like Muhammad Ali is one of the best athletes I ever seen in jiu-jitsu. That guy, he could be whatever sport, like he's like athlete.
Whatever. Wow, that's crazy.
Right. So Muhammad Ali, he's crazy athlete. So let's say then a guy go and sign up for like, I don't know, Charleston Open. And then Muhammad Ali is there. And then the guy like, oh no, I just want to have my first black belt match in IBJJF. And then your first round is Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Man, like it's like I don't think that I don't like some people think that's nice. I don't think it's nice. I think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's like imagine like it's like
You guys,
or
next
like
3 years. In 3 years, you could be in the same bracket. You too.
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
yeah. But like think about, let's say Buchecha, he's 31, 32 now.
Yeah.
So imagine if Buchecha decides to master worlds, and then you like now you master one, and you're like, man, like you talk to your wife, baby, let's go to Vegas. We're gonna have a great time. I'm gonna compete, and then we go have fun. And your first round is Buchecha.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's I get it on both sides. I'm a realist, and look, I'm a hobbyist. I'm a realist, and I'm somebody who started older. It's no fun to show up like that. You know, when you go to compete, you really do want to. Yes, it's there for the experience, but you want to have a fair chance at getting
exactly.
something. That's
what I'm talking about.
That's a pro.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think
Buchecha is a pro. He's fighting in one championship. He could come back and just do a local tournament. He could literally show up at a local new breed and compete. And it's like, what fun is that for him? I mean, it doesn't happen too often like that, but
I wish it did.
I think that there should be a separation of like, you're a professional now and you're going to fight here. And these are the guys that are going to fight on this side and the hobbyists.
I kind of look forward to fighting Buchecha and Leandro Lowe.
I don't know. I think
Felipe
this
Pena.
That's okay.
If I stick around, it might happen.
But that's okay if you take this serious.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna prepare yourself for that. What I'm saying is like the guys, they are not preparing themselves. They just going for a tournament, not thinking like you, so they just want to go to a tournament. You know, but like, and then you show up there, and then like you go in the Masters division, and then like Lovato is there, Xande is there, Cyborg is there, like what Keishin is there, you know, Rafael Formiga is there, like Vitor, man, like Megaton is there.
No, Mackenzie Dern is there if you're a girl.
Yeah,
like
she's 31. Like, she's Masters.
Michelle Nicolini, she just won double gold at the Europeans on the Masters division. So imagine like you're a girl, and then like your first tournament as a Masters black belt, to go, let me sign up, I want to compete as a black belt at BJJF. And then you're going to Michelle Nicolini, like first round, class and open class. If you prepare for this, it's very nice. But if your mindset's not for that, I don't think it's realistic.
Yeah. Well, listen, Professor, we're gonna do a speed round of questions real quick. It's just we ask similar questions to almost every guest. I know you got to get out of here. We're going to try to do this in just a few minutes. Okay. You got him? You want to start off?
I got him. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Mackenzie Dern is 28. I apologize.
I'll ask the first one. So I know you've competed, both gi and no gi. What is your preference? Which do you prefer to compete in, gi or no gi?
The answer that I always give my students that I like no gi and I love gi.
I agree.
Explain.
I think people have their preference, of course. Some people say that no gi is harder. I think the gi has so much more possibilities because of the gripping, and because I grew up in a gi culture. Like, remember, I started 1990, so it's not like now. I think who start nowadays, you're gonna see a lot of people going into no gi, right? And the most important thing, don't forget, I started jiu-jitsu because of judo. So I always love the gi, man. Like you're gonna see me tournaments like doing throws. Like I never got belted in judo, but I train a lot of judo. My wife is a judo black belt. I still train judo. You know, so I love the gi. The no gi, I really like the training, and I love the competition because I love to compete. So like I have won no gi worlds like 5 times on the Masters division. So I joke with people like I love the gi, but I have more no gi titles.
I got you. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Go ahead. Next question.
Takedown or pull guard?
What's your preference?
Like a beautiful throw is a beautiful throw, man.
There you go.
That's even, is that considered? I mean, it is a takedown.
That's takedown.
But I call it a throw. But I love judo too. Like sometimes if I get like a judo video on my Instagram reel, and then I just start like I pick it, and then I'm watching like before you know it, I'm watching like 1984 Summer Olympics judo matches.
So
I'm a guard player as well. I play a lot of half guard. So it really depends on who you're rolling against. But a beautiful throw is a beautiful throw.
Who is your favorite competitor to watch?
Depends which era.
The era when you were a kid and you were looking up.
So when I was a kid, I'm gonna mention 4 names because I cannot mention just one. Fábio Gurgel, Ricardo Libório, Mário Sperry, and Murilo Bustamante. Those, and I'm already Bittetti, top 5.
Top 5.
So those are like,
that's good.
Those were like my heroes, right? For my generation, Marcelo Garcia, Xande, Roger, Jacaré, and yes, and Lovato Jr. And because Lovato, for me, he's the real like American GOAT because he did everything.
Yep.
Gi, no gi, MMA, everything, right? Today's generation, I love to watch Tainan Dalpra is amazing. Mika Galvão is amazing. Gordon Ryan is amazing. I wish Gordon did the gi as well because I really think like I have that argument with everybody. I really think that if he did the gi,
he's good.
He would make the Sunday of the world. I have that argument with everybody. Anyways,
he's good.
But like Gordon, yes, but Gordon, Tainan, and Mika Galvão, man, they are different. They are different.
Yeah.
Art of Jiu-Jitsu is putting out some really beautiful.
Just don't say that I didn't talk about any girls. Bia Mesquita, Ana Carol Vieira, they are 2 of my favorite like grapplers ever, like from any era.
One of my coaches trains with her, Sofia Amarante. They train with her at Aviv often.
Man, they are so good. They are so
She's
good.
so strong. Yeah, like the way she looks. Let's see. What's your ultimate goal in the world of jiu-jitsu?
Think about your legacy. What do you want to leave behind?
Is really make an impact here on Midland communities, because it's a small town, oil town. Like a lot of kids, they don't see future here. They just want to move out of town when they go college during college time. And I wanna like a lot of kids see that they can have future in jiu-jitsu. You know, because like he is all about football, baseball, and go to college. And now we have a big program that we want to grow more, and I want to people. It's even hard for the parents like see jiu-jitsu as a profession over here. So that's something that I always like to bring people here and like bring young people, so the parents, not only the kids, but the parents can see that people can really make a living of jiu-jitsu, right? Mm-hmm. You see like Koabachi, you know, like 17. Mika Galvão, 18. Mika Galvão, 18 years old. Kendall, I brought Kendall here like last month. Kendall Wilson, like, I mean, she has like 3-4 schools. Like she's like 23 years old. You know, so I think that's important for the kids see someone that they can relate, because yes, they can see me, but it's like you always need to. I believe you always need someone that like that small age gap for you, so you can say, "Oh, I want to be there." You know.
Yeah. So we're going to jump ahead to the last question because I know that you got to go. We want to get you to your class.
Yep.
This is we call this the most important question you can ever answer in your jiu-jitsu career. Do you or do you not wash your belt?
No.
Nope. That was
why?
I knew that was coming.
And why?
And because I believe in tradition.
Okay.
And I think if I have come in a different generation, I would definitely wash my belt.
Yeah.
So as an old school guy, somebody who trained in Brazil, what is the tradition behind not washing the belt? What does it really mean to wash it or not wash it?
When I was a kid, like the thing was like, if you wash your belt, you lose all your knowledge, you lose all your power, you lose all your techniques, and then it's like the good thing is like I have multiple belts, right? So like, but like jiu-jitsu changed so much, man. Jiu-jitsu changed so much.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Professor, thank you so much for doing this. We'll let you get to your class. We appreciate you coming on. We'll put this out. I'll tag you in about a week. We put these out like about a week and a half after we shoot. So we'll tag you. I'll let you know when this comes out. But we really, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for doing this, and you have a good night. Okay.
thank you very much.
Let me let you do any shout outs. If anybody you'd like to say hello to, any sponsors, anything like that. I'm sorry, I forgot to let you do that.
First of all, I would like to thank you guys for the opportunity. Hope I can come back on the show. I feel that we could talk about a lot of things like 4 hours.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Flowers,
definitely.
BJJ.
And if you're ever in Miami, please come into the studio. We like to have people come in, obviously with Zoom and travel and fewer events. Fewer people coming down to South Florida for events. We're doing them mostly on Zoom, but we designed the podcast to be like a round table and have people come in. So if you're ever down here, just let me know. We'll plan something.
Yes. Well, definitely. And then so thank you for that. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to extend the invitation for you guys to come over to Midland, Texas.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say the same thing that I said to everyone. Hey, there is not much to do here, but it's great jiu-jitsu.
Good to know. Thank you so much.
And then other than that, just thank you my sponsors, especially Fuji. Fuji's been with me since 2013. You know, like Sensei Jimmy and I have a relationship that goes like beyond the business. I'm very grateful for him. Then every single company like Warriors BD that I have, Hubert Education. Ahora estoy hablando español también. It's a Spanish course that like give me opportunity. So because I've been traveling a lot for Mexico and to South America as well, so I think it's important to be able to speak on the person's language. So Hubert Education, BJJ Fanatics with Michael Zenga and Bernardo, like they have a good partnership with me. I appreciate the opportunity to work for them. And that's it. Hope to keep like inspiring people through jiu-jitsu.
And you got your BJJ Fanatics. It's a closed guard, right? What is it? What's the exact name of your?
I have the Visible Jiu-Jitsu series, right? So I have the Invisible Jiu-Jitsu. I call the Visible Jiu-Jitsu, so everybody can see. So the Visible Jiu-Jitsu series, I have the half guard. I have half guard sweeps, submissions. Then I have the guard passing the half guard. All right, and I have the close guard like submissions.
Very good. Go check those out, everyone.
You guys gonna see some good content over there.
All right, don't hang up, but we're gonna say goodbye. Thank you so much again. Appreciate you coming on, and we're always open for you coming down. So thank you so much. All righty,
thank you. Guys.
Okay. All right, that was awesome, everybody. Thank you very much again to Professor Bastos.
How about all those? Man, that guy
knows everybody.
Yes, I was actually trying not to interrupt, but yeah. Like,
he named like the royal, like
speed,
just kind of the who's who and the royalty of.
It was a carpet bombing of name dropping.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
like
he's trained with some of the best. Of course, I pick out BJ Penn because being a UFC fan, I wanted to. He said that he dropped his name a couple of times.
You know what's the one thing I say about BJ Penn to everybody who's never heard about BJ Penn?
No, I have no clue what you tell anybody.
I go immediately to YouTube and I was like, watch this little tiny dude jump out of a 3-foot pool. Just dead leg jump. He's in a pool up to here in water.
Oh, are you serious?
And he high jumps out.
I thought this was one of me like a Miguel joke.
No.
I was waiting for the punchline.
You did that twice today.
Yeah.
You thought I was like
he's for real.
Yeah, no, I'm super for real.
Hey guys, we got some.
What do we got? Super for real.
Got some gifts from Flow and Roll. Got a little bit of a swag for you guys. But we got a couple of t-shirts for you.
Oh, you got to roll before you put this stuff on, bro.
Flow and Roll. I'm just going to throw these at you, bro. I'm not being disrespectful.
Bam.
What else do we got?
Hey, Bo, you got to let us put you in a couple of Kimuras before you can put that thing on.
Yeah, right. And that's the last thing you're putting me in.
Jiu-Jitsu is the art of control that leads to submission.
He just missed it.
What did he miss?
You missed that I knew what a Kimura was.
Hey, what's that
about
one say?
time.
What does it say? What does it say? What does it
But
say?
too late. I read it
Too
already.
late.
That's because
Yeah,
I
too many
watch.
shirts to go through.
That's because I watch Mary_A_.
Very cool.
B.
High quality rolls, jiu-jitsu.
Check that. Oh, I like that one.
This one's one of my favorites. Look at that design. How
It's-
cool is that?
I think I'm wearing it actually.
Oh, that's the one you got on?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love
Again,
it.
designs are really just amazing.
He's great.
They're
He's so good
This
at
is
it.
part of his 2022 line. Some of those.
Oh. Got him.
Damn.
What do we got for Miguel?
What do we got?
Let's see. We got a whole bunch of stuff. We got way more stuff out there that we did a little unboxing video for
Sean,
you guys.
you're
You
so
can check
nice.
it out on our Instagram and on our TikTok.
I might just give some of these away online, and just ship
run a
them to
little
somebody.
contest.
Yeah, contest. No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe
Technique over
make it
strength.
fun. Bam. Never strength over technique. Always. That's why I always lose.
Drop the bomb. Good day for drop the bomb. Right?
Yeah.
What does it say? Read that.
What? Taking you down. It says, "I'm taking you down. Brace for impact."
Very cool. There you go.
That's awesome. I like this one.
What else we got here? Oh, this is the Eminence one. Like
I just got your drop the bomb thing.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. Right. All right. You know what? I'll save mine for
Another
the
day.
unboxing. We'll show them on the
$1.
unboxing, so check those out online. Thank you to Sean.
The
Everybody
secret.
check out Flow and Roll. Again, Flow and Roll. Flow_N_roll on Instagram. And if you're going to order T-shirts, gis, belts, anything, individual orders, you just go to flowandroll.com and use code JJD at checkout.
That's right.
How's that? JJD. I get that JJD
Underscore
confused with your
DJJ.
You screwed me up.
It's a master plan, sir.
Let's do some quick shout out. Shout out to our Patreon podcast patrons, including gym sponsors Carlson Gracie, Winter Haven in Winter Haven, Florida, cgwinterhaven.com, at Carlson Gracie _Winter Haven on Instagram, Carlson Gracie, Broward County in North Lauderdale. That's Big J down here in Florida.
Big J.
Carlson Gracie, BrowardCounty.com, and at Carlson Gracie, Broward County on IG. A big shout out to John Way Martial Arts in Plantation, Florida, johnwaymartialarts.com, and at John Way Martial Arts on IG. Our individual patrons include Jebediah Berra, Robert Walker, Frank House, Boa Athletics. You can check them out at BOA_athletics on IG. Jason Smiley, CJ Carroll, Mission 22, and Chuck Reddoor. Oh, no. And Roberto Santiago.
Yeah, man.
Can't forget about Roberto.
He trains at John's.
At John Way, yeah, absolutely. If you'd like to support the show, you can and get a shout out like that. Visit us on patreon.com/Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. Join and you're automatically entered every single month into our monthly giveaway to win up to $100 in Jiu-Jitsu swag. Listeners who submit questions we use on the show are also automatically entered into those drawings. You'll see me posting, and the winners are that kind of
what
stuff.
I'm gonna say.
They're either getting stuff from Patreon, or they've submitted questions and they're getting a bottle of CBD or
Double dip.
or a podcast tea from Flow and Roll, who's doing all our podcasts now.
If you get a gift card, get the mug. The mug is the best.
Which one? Where? On our site?
Yeah.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, those mugs come out.
Those mugs
amazing.
Yeah.
They last for
They wash well.
they last forever.
They look good.
That ink, it never. Comes
It's a good
off.
conversation starter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love whenever I send a swag bag to every guest.
Yeah.
So I love when they post the mug. It's the one.
Yeah.
It absolutely lasts
And
the longest.
If you don't like coffee, you can put tea in it.
At Jiu-Jitsu Dummies on IG for all the ways to watch, listen, support, and donate to our scholarship program, where we award 1-year scholarships to veterans, first responders, and amazing kids. Now, we did that under the foundation, but we closed that to do them under the podcast. So we're hoping to do one, but we need your help. So if you go to our IG, click on the link in the bio, you can...
There's a donate.
Right at the top there, you can kind of see one of the first 3 or 4 clicks. You'll see that you can donate on GoFundMe. So check that out.
Yep.
Last, this tribal guy, want to give him another shout out, right?
Hey,
Whoa,
this
I'm gonna
tribal
knock over the... I love mine. Show them yours. Yours is better. Mine's been here for a while.
They're all great. What are you
Right?
talking about?
They're
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, they're amazing.
That's
These paddles, you'll kind of give him a little history of yourself and your life, and then he'll create a really cool paddle. He did yours, obviously jiu-jitsu and your military background.
red, white,
I
and
extra
blue.
mine to be about the show. I'm definitely looking forward to getting one for kind of like a little
For
bit
the
more personal
crib.
for me. And
Yeah.
we're building out the gym at the house.
What's it going to be? Is it going to be like you walking on the beach?
I don't know. I think it's me, my daughter, family, young dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it. So
Okay.
Actually, Bo's up next. If he's going to do another, he was.
I'm excited.
Patrick's going to do one for all of the staff members and the hosts and everything. So Bo will be up next, and then we'll have.
I'm excited
maybe a third
to see
one
it.
here.
Yeah.
Very cool. Check him out on Instagram at This Tribal Guy, and you can go to his Etsy page, etsy.com/shop/This Tribal Guy.
All of us here at the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies would like to thank the entire crew over at Flow and Roll for their tremendous support. They're renowned for their incredible t-shirt designs, and they've got something for everyone. Flow and Roll quickly rose up to become the premier custom apparel provider for academies, big or small, throughout the United States. Shoot them an email about your custom order, flowandroll@gmail.com, and they'll be more than happy to get you hooked up. Check them out on Instagram at flow_n_roll for samples of their gi and no-gi kits. They conveniently offer flexible payment options, too. Head over to flowandroll.com for more details, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummies signature tee, now exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your online purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD. Special thanks to George Hernandez, Claims Adjuster. Have you experienced damage to your residential or commercial property in the state of Florida from flood or fire, storms, theft and vandalism, even sinkholes, just to name a few? Don't get stressed out dealing with your insurance provider. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals get you the most compensation possible. Visit hernandezclaims.com or call 305-712-6751 to get help now. And stay in touch with them on Instagram at Hernandez Claims.
Anything else?
That's it, man.
Good?
Just check us out.
So I'm Uncle Milty BJJ on IG. You are?
I am JJD.
Do you remember what it is?
_DJJ.
At JJD _DJJ.
I don't think, do you have to say the at?
69.
Come on. Do you have to
Want
say
to be
the
clear?
at? What do you mean?
Just want to be clear.
On Instagram. If you're on Instagram.
You do.
But you were really, I repeated it only because you were like really low. You were like, JJ.
You don't say the at.
At JJD _DJJ. Say that 5 times real fast.
Do you say www?
69.
I feel like that's
no,
like the same
actually, I
thing.
had somebody take that out of artwork today that sent me something. I'm like, you
Yeah,
don't
I
have
was
to
like,
say
what are
the
you doing?
W's.
You don't have to say at.
I love when somebody's like, take down my website. Okay, it's www.
Well, what?
I'm like, yeah, go ahed. Are you going to write that down? They're waiting for you to write it down. I'm like, no, I know that. It's always www.
https://
www.
At
What?
At Badworks.
At Badworks.
BADWERKS.
Correct.
I got that one. I'm tagging you every day. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We appreciate
sure.
you. Peace, love, and jiu-jitsu.
Us.
The big ones.